Are you guys sick of this music yet? Hello, friends. Are we friends? Hello, chat. Let's go. Cosmic Turnabout. Yeah, day 2 trial. Mitsu, thank you for 40 months of tier 1. 40 months! What? $40 months. Alright, it is December 20th, District Court, courtroom number 5, 10:15 a.m. All rise. Court is now in session. Where is he? Oh, this is after the domestic terrorism incident has happened. So courtroom number 4 got bombed to smithereens, and now we're in courtroom number 5. Right. I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something.
Objection!
Your Honor? Could you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bombs, I promise. Wait, what? Oh, because there was that... Yeah, Apollo was like big mad. And he was like, I'm taking a leave of absence. I'm gonna go find out what happened to my friend. Like, you and Athena, like, can go defend this guy. Hi, Cheese Whiz. And Sardine, I hope you're both chilling. Damn. Oh, yes, oh, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. And then Mr. Tonate self-destructed. I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tonate. Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's actions. Tonate, you get it? Yeah, his name is Ted Tonate. So you, Mr. Ray, will be taking up the defense? Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor, the defense is ready. Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? Huh? I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement this time? Well, looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader. Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. Yeah, in fact, I would say that Simon Blackquill is the most colorless prosecutor we've had so far. Man is entirely black and white. Clavier was purple. Edgeworth was magenta. Francisca von Karma was like cyan. Godot was teal. You could say he is something of a veteran of sorts. Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Taryn, Escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge. And how could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackquill, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point? Colonel Mustard, Pipe, the library figured it out. True. Based on the characters that we currently have, I'm guessing that it was Yuri Cosmos with the knife in the boarding lounge. Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Dono's argument was correct. So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspects. There are two people, but can we truly trust their statements? Alright. Detective Candace Arm. And... oh, can disarm. Wow. We learned her name like 3 cases ago and I only just now figured it out. And Yuri Cosmos. You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Alright. Well, Candace Arm's dead, so... and just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, the courtroom bombing incident occurred and the trial was put on hold. That accursed fellow, he killed my witness! He killed Detective Arm! He definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw. Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial. It's obvious Prosecutor Blackquill still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Fulbright said that Blackquill has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues that there was a third person in the lounge and that's who killed the victim.
Objection!
To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man or a stupid one. There was no third person in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already? Old man. Old man? Motherfucker. Eight years ago. 8 years ago. Phoenix Wright? How old was Phoenix Wright 8 years ago? 30, like he was 26, right? So he's 34 now. He's 34 or 35 now. This man's 28. I don't know about that one. Yeah, Blackquill's 28. Doesn't Blackquill seem like... he seems like he's 22? No, bro. This man, he looks like he's seeing some shit. Like, when I first saw him, I thought he was like 35.
Objection!
We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. Why are you falling to his level? Phoenix Wright, you dumb fuck. In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene. They saw a third person. I see my sister has been running her mouth. That's right, I almost forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. No matter, she didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. Was this spaceship on Earth or was it actually in space? It was on Earth. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene. Director Cosmos, huh? Very well. Bailiff, please bring the witness to the stand. Why, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers. Of course you have, for I am Yuri Cosmos, director of the Cosmos Space Center, which was, of course, named after me, Yuri Cosmos. I'm so sorry to any Eastern European viewers that might be here. I am so sorry. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me? Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging. 7 years ago, I successfully launched the HAT-1 and... the way the music just stopped. Haniel would be turning right now. Haniel's not like Russian. And by Eastern European, I mean like former Soviet bloc countries, not like Turkey. Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I am trying to hold back my tears at seeing such a great man standing before me. So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony? Ha ha ha! I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation of greatness. Then allow me to begin my... What is this word? Epochal?
Epical.
Epical. My epical testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history. In that speech of Prosecutor Blackclothes just now, it sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos. He was totally being sarcastic. It's probably for the best that it's held right over the director's head. Oh, now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please. Bro's on his Segway. Gaiaxa. What I saw at the scene. Detective Arm and I rushed toward the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Terran lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck. But I thought Starbuck was unconscious. There was an alien imposter, and they killed the victim. True. Like E.T. I see. So in your testimony you claim you arrived on the scene after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge, and just after the victim had been killed. Oh, the horror, the humanity. But what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? To save my men, I went personally into the epicenter of danger, risking my own life for theirs. Ha 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 ha. Well, what do you know? It sounds like the director really cares about his men. Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away. Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. I'm going to have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else. Okay, the first one I want to press is the one where he's like, it had to be Starbuck.
Hold it!
Is that the Mario Superstar pinned on his chest? I think so. Aura Blackpool also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly? No, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Terran, but I couldn't see who the other person was. So, for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck, isn't that correct? I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man who's capable of murder.
Objection!
When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. Isn't that correct, Great Space Center Director? Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Terran were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark and the figure vanished. You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconscious.
Hold it!
Hold on, Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off of the scene? Just for a brief instant, as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by. If you took your eyes off the scene, then this third person could have escaped during that time. Oh, but what escape route could this person have used? The direction opposite the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are possible, right, Dono? The real question is, do you have any proof? Oh, well... If we're just talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university professor and a lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. Is this like what Enel went to find? As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists? He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss. And he's right, I don't have any proof yet. Still... The southern door was a possible escape route. I'd better make a mental note of that. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question? Yes. Why did you look away from the boarding lounge? Ha ha ha. There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arms saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her. What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure? I imagine her instincts as a detective told her they were the killer. That's some American cop shit right there. That's crazy. That's so crazy. I don't know about that. And were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun? I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly and then... She fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure. This information about Detective Arm's action sounds critically important. Please add it to your testimony. There must be something you're missing. Why are they using lighters and guns near oxygen tanks, especially since one was broken? We don't know when it was broken, and the guy's oxygen tank who broke was like dead already anyways, and the person holding the lighter was the bad guy, and the person holding the gun was a police officer. So like what do you expect, you know?
Hold it!
And neither of these 2 shots hit the culprit? That is correct. The detective appears to have missed on purpose. Huh, but did she really? There is something about this that bothers me. So, Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, did she? That's the first time that info has come out. I wonder if I can find any inconsistencies? Okay, thank you, video game. Rosette. 2. We have 1 bullet and 1 bullet hole? Where's the second bullet? Damn, best viewers on IMOB pay.
Objection!
Oh. I'm cooked. Then it's the hole instead?
Objection!
Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing? Oh, because there's only 1 hole. I guess the second bullet could be lost anywhere, but there's only 1 hole, so like, what do you mean she fired 2 shots? Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing? You doubt my words? Words that will someday be written down in history books? Will that really be written down in history books, or will I request to cross-examine the parrot be more likely to be written down in history books? You decide. Somehow I don't think that those exact words will ever be written down in any history books. Blacko will be like, oh, what's this? Throws a second bullet? Well, that would be more evidence to get, so we would still take that. Oh, Mr. Wright, could you please explain yourself so that we can all understand? You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene. What? Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once, and yet Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirm that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to? Ah! You should know the answer to that already. I should? During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? Well, it appears that the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun. What? The rifling marks also match up. Wait, if it's 38, then that's not the same as this, because this is 10 caliber. This one's like a really small gun. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. Rifling marks, they're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun it was fired from? One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots. My beautiful contradiction. Gone. Oh, gone. Most vermin rifles are like 22 caliber. That's a really weak gun. So it's like really... Does that mean it's smaller too, or just that it's weak? So that bullet hole was from a .38 caliber, huh? I better update the record. Very good. Now we know the fate of both the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all of your questions? No. Huh, Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display and the other hit the oxygen tank? Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene? No, it doesn't! No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun, but that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a 3rd person. Oh. Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. One piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene. This one. Oh my god! The 38 caliber, the caliber gun's bullet is so much bigger than this baby bullet. It's so small. Look at that size difference. Not that size matters, but you know what I mean? Hi, Marukeus. So far, the plot has been... This guy was like, I heard 2 shots. I heard 2 shots. And we were like, if 2 shots, why 1 bullet hole? And then Blackpool was like, actually, yes, 2 shots, both from the Detective Arms 38 caliber gun. And then now we're at, if 38 caliber, why does this bullet exist? Why 10 caliber handgun? Hope that helped. Why 2 bullets for 1 shot? Okay, now, okay. And what is this metal pellet supposed to be? Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor. You found it where? In a floor gutter at the crime scene. It looks like the police and prosecution both missed it. Furthermore, this is a 10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's 38 calibers. I too can identify that 38 is a bigger number than 10. Wow. Then that means... Exactly. 1 more person must have been there in the lounge. A 3rd person who had a gun who could fire 10 caliber bullets. 10 caliber gun. They've got to be really small, right? I feel like usually the numbers I hear when it comes to guns are like 38 and 40 and 45. Not that I know very much about guns, but 10's like real small. Make sure to put in Minecraft so the search doesn't seem sus. Oh well, oops. And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This 3rd person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? Hahaha. It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. What's this now? Why didn't you... Nice segue, by the way. Why didn't you say that in the first place in your fucking testimony? What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before. Yeah. Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know? Foolish old geezer. So Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a 3rd person all along? Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw. You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. Your ego is through the roof. Rein that shit in. You won't receive special treatment here. Now please give accurate testimony. Wait, we hit the karaoke goal? That was really quick. That only took like 2 weeks, I feel. And, oh, we're also really close to the ethanol guys. It's Drover. Alright, what I really saw at the scene. Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and Terran on the floor. That sound effect. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. What? Is that right? Am I stupid? That Hang on, what the fuck? The person was in the control room? Where's my map? Oh, are there floor plans? No, not What? Where are the floor plans? Is it this one? Okay, there we go. So they shot at them here? But wouldn't there be like... Where was the bullet found again? Discovered in a gutter that runs along the south wall of the boarding lounge. It was fired from a 10 caliber hand... The south edge? So it was found in a gutter like here? But if they fired here, what did it like? Was this like a pool moment? You know, when you shoot like your white cue ball or whatever it's called, and then it hits a ball, and then it bounces here, and then it bounces here, and then it bounces here. Is that... What? That seems very precise to me. Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant? Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
Objection. Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one and it is you who is cut down. Huh? Your reasoning could apply if Spaceboy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person. But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun on his possession when he was found by police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the
Objection!
weapon. It's up to you to prove that possibility, and I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. What evidence? Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. Ah! I did forget all about that. I forgot about it too, Phoenix. It's okay. It's been like 2 weeks since I thought about that piece of evidence. Does he have a pocket watch chain? I think so. After he became a lawyer again, I bet Edgeworth like dripped him the fuck out. Look at him with his waistcoat and like renewed blue suit, and like he's not wearing a fucking beanie anymore. We're so proud. Look, your baldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine. Wow, he sliced the third person theory to ribbons and served it to us just like that. Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. The 3D open mouth, so much worse, so much better in the 2D model. Yup. We've all hammered that point to death, but it's just every time. I think the judge looks okay, actually. Of all of the recurring character models, I think he's the best one. But that's also because you don't really get so many angles of him, and he's not really like shifting around, you know? He's very much like centered and looking at you all the time. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly? bullet hit me. Oh, so does that mean you're a ghost? Huh? I was wondering when you would realize that your baldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls. What? Eee!
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackquill, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman. Your baldness, it was all in jest. Please show yourself again. Oh, are you sure? Oh, in that case, how did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos? Ha. I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life. Oh my god, that star is fucked up. That's crazy. That's like, what was that? Was it Theodore Roosevelt? Who was like about to give a speech or something and had his speech folded up like on paper inside his breast pocket? Or maybe it was like a small book or something like that. And he got shot at and the bullet got like lodged in the paper. And he was only like bruised. Like barely even injured at all by a gun? This is a bit of a classic, but like, you know what? Good for him. Good for Yuri Cosmos. What? Look at him on his Segway. So majestic, so gallant. Imagine if all the prosecutors had that much humor, they could all use it. Yeah, it's just like the youth ganging up on the elderly. They're all just bullying the judge whenever they can. That's unbelievable. I have to check this out. Oh wow! Look at that! There's one extra Gaiaxa star. The HUDs are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle. It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos. But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand. I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding? Let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find out. Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Okay, but why hide this in particular? I think he wants to keep a lot of things secret so that when his autobiography comes out or whatever, like he's very much a clout demon. Big clout demon. So yeah, when his autobiography comes out, he can like, I don't know, shock the world or some shit. Actually, the control room, saw a figure. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Right.
Hold it!
So, in other words, you were fired at while you were at the control room door. That is correct. That is correct. Correct? I don't know. There's something not correct about that. Director Cosmos, the bullet this person fired hit you, isn't that right? Yes, it was a miracle. A miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullets the figure, fired hit me while I was in the control room, but as the Cosmos would have it, the bullet bounced off my glorious Medal of Honor. In that case, the bullet should have wound up somewhere around the control room door. Okay, so Director Cosmos was in the control room to the east, and while he was there, he was shot at by someone with a 10, oh, this is Phoenix. And while he was there, he was shot at by someone with a 10 caliber gun. But the bullet hit his medal, so he was able to escape with his life. He's a very lucky man, no wonder people think he's great. Hey, I'm pretty lucky myself, so if he's a great man, then I'm the king of all the cosmos. Present? Where would the bullet have ended up? The door? Or like... He said it would have ended up somewhere else. If it fired into the control room, like, did it bounce, bounce, bounce? Or is he insinuating that, like, if it lodged into, like, his badge, like the way that it did, then it shouldn't end up in the gutter, like it says here. It should have ended up somewhere in the control room? Is that what he means? Like, it should have ended up somewhere else? Like, it should have been discovered in the control room, or, like, closer to the control room, rather than, like, that insane pool trick shot that the bullet, like, traveled or traversed in order to arrive, like, back down south. I think that's what the game wants, but
Objection!
let's just send it. I don't know. Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this great court a glorious lie. A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history? I mean, yeah, like, yeah. Yeah. My accusation is based on the positions of the people who are in the lounge. He's already told one. True. I was going more for the corruption angle, but, like, yes, literally so true. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door, and the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Oh. This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
Don't tell me oh, wait. Don't tell me you've forgotten already? Didn't the witness himself just tell you? The bullet hit his metal. Of this, there is no mistake.
Objection!
But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. Alright, Black Quill. Have at it. I didn't- what? Oh, great Director Cosmos. Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south, is that not right? Gah! Gah! What are you getting at? This is Black Quill's music? Or, well, I'm not sure actually. I feel like his theme has never been so obvious to me, but like, I think it's this? I like this one a lot. This thing that sounds like a clarinet. It is very good. Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest. Motherfucker, your bird is literally treating you like a tree branch right now. What do you mean housing that bird's nest? You are the bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair? Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south. Ah, that makes some sense actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution. Huh? I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director? If you don't tell the truth this time. Oh. Yikes. His handcuffs. He will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man. Oh, alright. I'll tell the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos. Does he actually have a real sword that's just not being animated? Like, like this entire time, I thought the sword slashes and like the feather being cut and stuff was all like figurative. because there's no sword on his character model? Give him a sword, Von Karma at least had a whip, true. But I thought it was like some like martial arts shit, right? Like in One Piece, like Zoro has like a zero sword style where he's literally not holding a sword, but like it's still animated like he cuts things. But like that's like when applied to a more realistic setting such as the Ace Attorney universe, like that, what? I don't know. Real sword or just his aura is that sharp? Alright, blah, blah, blah. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door. What? That's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far. And dare I say, Black Coal's a Sigma. What's up, Haniel? Hope you're doing well. And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door, meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos' fingerprints. Haniel, are you drunk? In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one. Ah! My third person just disappeared! Just like, didn't want to choose these magic tricks. Order! Order in the court! Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie? Well, how can I tell? I mean, he said he was taking care of a drunk girl in the Discord server. Also, like, the all caps is fairly unlikely. Like, unusual behavior. You were covering for the defendant, isn't that right? Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprits could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was to protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? Really? It looks like we've come to a conclusion. At the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person has crumbled. No! It's over. Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. We got so zoomed out all of a sudden. Think, Phoenix, think! This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Dr. Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? We wouldn't know because Candace Arm is dead! And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person. The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Yeah, objection! Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility. Yuri Cosmos is the culprit, maybe. At least that's how the formula usually goes with this game, so... Yuri Cosmos! It's gotta be him. Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright. There's one and only one person who could have escaped from the scene. And that person would be the first person who arrived on the scene. Then upon entering the boarding lounge, The second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them. Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who is the one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge? It's Yuri Cosmos, it's you boomer.
Take that!
What? But that's... Oh yeah, I guess like another part of it is that we don't know if the bullet imprint on his badge is from this one or this one, right? If we just hold this up to it versus this one and compare, then like... If it's not this one, and it's actually this one, he's cooked! He's cooked! He's so cooked. Oh no, ethanol. How far are we? Like 3,000 points away? You get Bobo? And, what's it called? What's he called? I mean, Cowbow? Get Bobo and Cowbow in here, and I feel like the challenge is complete. Did I lose my voice or something? No, I've just been trying to... What's the word? Enunciate better. Bobo already donated? Oh my god, she did already donate. Never mind. Mr. Wright, well, what are you claiming here? Cooked? Cooked. Yo, Sandom, it's been a little bit. Hope you're doing well. Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all. But that means... Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness, Director Yuri Cosmos. What? What? You'd be gay for right? Okay. Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail. I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm, and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and... saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. You try to drop out whenever possible? I appreciate that very much. I hope you're having a good day. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots. Yeah, I've been hit. I've been hit on the starboard side. Captain Wright, it's a direct hit on enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot. Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again. I've been hit. I've been hit on the port side. The enemy has called in reinforcements. Earth the Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality. But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
Objection!
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. If Director Cosmos is a third person or a Black Hole Saw, this third person fired with their gun and they got shot. Yeah. As great as he'd probably be as a partner, you just don't see the attraction. Oh, we don't have a profile for him. It's the face? I think he's too stupid for me. I mean, like, the game mechanic of, like, the game having to constantly remind you of, like, what's going on makes him probably stupider than he actually is. Like, to me as a player, right? But, like, I don't know. The mystery person fired upon us. Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, It only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. The game is nerfing him. I agree with that. I think that because, one, it's a children's game, and two, like, the order that you find clues in is different than maybe what, like, especially in the first trilogy, like, the game would have expected you to find them in. Like, your perception of how smart or, like, how good his memory is, I guess, more accurately, like, can vary very wildly. High amount of variance there in, like, how smart you think he is. But, like, I'm unconvinced that, like, even taking that into consideration, like, it really updates our conclusion all that much, you know? Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you receive from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Brace for further impact. Yo, what's up, Sean? Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove you were the one in the lounge. Which bullet? This one?
Take that!
Does it matter? The .38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a .38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for. You're cooked. The bridge is destroyed, losing altitude. All hands abandon ship. Oh, if that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank? It was the .10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director? No! You got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again? It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth. If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar, then accept your fate and tell the truth. That Dizzy one was a good one. I liked that one a lot. Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center? Yeah, but the cosmos revolves around me! Fucking segue, dude, this is so good. Someone gets me off this thing! How does he not get dizzy? He absolutely is. Order! Order in the court? And will someone please stop the witness from spinning? Oh yeah, I guess like another thing. Like I'm really scared to play the Edgeworth games actually. Cause like I think that Edgeworth is pretty cool and like pretty smart. And granted he was like pretty corrupt in like Case 2 and stuff. Case 2 and like maybe Case 3. Actually starting in Case 3 he kind of gets better. But like especially in Case 1-2, like damn, that man put like what was prosecuting Maya Fey and Phoenix Wright for the murder of Mia Fey. Like that's crazy. But like what if I play this game and like we're doing like the mental chess and stuff and it turns out like damn, Miles Edgeworth is actually kind of stupid. I feel like that would kind of ruin it for me. So, you know, we'll get there. I'll probably play that game after playing TGAA. But like man, I'm concerned. I'm scared that Edgeworth will be more of a dork to me, and I don't know. Yeah, he has to make some mistakes because player POV. Yeah, so I don't know. Me when Capcom contradicts my own headcanons. Ew, thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth. That is a sentence. While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running analysis on the mark of the... already? It was made by a .38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm. Yeah. Are you ready to confess the truth, witness? No, you've got it all wrong. This is just a misunderstanding. Is he gonna start piling on more lies? It looks like it. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. Okay. To be continued. We are so back. Onwards! This is a short trial. That was trial part 1. Director Cosmos, a new possibility has been presented by the defense. They're claiming that you were this third person. Yeah, forgive me. I'm so sorry. So the great pioneer of space development is revealed to be just another fabulous cur. I only have one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? Yeah. The evidence doesn't lie, Director Cosmos, so don't try to talk your way out of this. Fine. I'll tell the truth. It's all just as you say, Mr. Wright. It's true that I was there in the boarding lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me. I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. I then went past the elevators and all the way around to boarding lounge 1 again. I came behind Detective Arm and pretended to be the second one on the scene. What a troublesome old man you are with such convoluted deeds and thoughts. Oh, I see. So then, are you still insisting that you did not kill this victim? Of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness. Now hold on just a moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss Aura Blackwell saw was you. I feel like that was a really weird pause. Like, why was there a break? Like, I feel like this is still the same trial. Why? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, why was it a break? No, it wasn't me. I saw the person as well. If I were the killer, why would I lie to cover for Starbuck? I would just leave him to take the fall. Huh, that is an excellent point. Well, it makes some sense if he told those lies to cover for Mr. Starbuck. Still, a lie's a lie, Athena. So, Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof? I remembered. I have an alibi. Miss Blackwell said that she saw the killer at 10 a.m., correct? Yes, and? Well, I was on the 4th floor helping with the evacuation effort. Ask any member of the staff you'd like. They'll corroborate me. Director is not fibbing to the court for once. I confirm that he has an alibi for the time specified. So you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 a.m.? That you arrive at the lounge after that? Yes, and I believe the person I saw is the same person that Miss Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. And I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an Earthling. Oh, Sardine, your alien theory is dead. The words I just remembered and alibi should never be in the same sentence. True! As long as he has an alibi. We can't very well claim Director Cosmos was the killer. No, we can't. Then again, maybe we don't need to yet. I wonder if he really was covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, the defense moves to have the director testify about the person he saw. Very well. Director Cosmos, your testimony, please. No Sussy Baka imposter. Yeah, no spaceships. Or no, like, no Polis, no Skeld. As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door, and, well, the Launchpad 1 door. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. So you were shot at by the killer as well, and then they disappeared? Yes, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard a pang. That must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured. Wait, but I thought the bullet hit his metal? That was Detective Arm's bullet, remember? Right. Oh, what a mess this is turning into. So, let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a 10 caliber bullet at him. Right, but it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it. And then the killer disappeared and the director went into the boarding lounge? When Detective Arm caught up and fired those warning shots at him. Judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out, too. Yeah, almost took him out, too. Good summary, but that doesn't explain where Mr. Killer went. Dr. Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared? I'm ashamed to admit I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but when I peeped back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate. But what I found was Terran with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor. So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape route. Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Silence!
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Huh, a riddle of the ages indeed. But I'd rather know how a fibbing leech such as you can be lauded as great. A great man is always misunderstood in his own time. But he must remain true to himself, even if those around him don't understand. Wow, that might be the first true statement he said all day. But how do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly? Simple, because it was Spaceboy himself. When he was spotted by the director and Aura, he quickly feigned unconsciousness. That would certainly take all the mystery out the idea of a vanishing culprit. I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter-evidence. Director Cosmos? When you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor? No, because it was as dark as a black hole in there. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished and I entered the room. Oh, that wasn't exactly helpful. Huh, I'm prepared to accept your surrender, Right Dono. I can't find any holes in this testimony, but I can't give up. Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help? Huh? While the director was giving his testimony, I detected a cacophony of discord. Which means that he's hiding his true feelings from us, huh? This just might help us find out what happened to our vanished killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what we can do with him. You got it, boss. I wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Yuri Cosmos, please, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me. Discord, true. As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. Kinda mad, very surprised, very sad / scared, valid. I hid to avoid getting shot. Still on his Segway in the graphic, getting shot at. He's still on the fucking Segway. I can't. Why is he on it still? Try to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door. Well, the Launchpad 1 door. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. Talk about mixed feelings. He must be trying to account for a number of contradictions. Mr. Wright, maybe this time we shouldn't just look for contradictory emotions. We should also look for emotions that should be there, but aren't. I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that his mind's a convoluted place too. He must have felt very shaken and distressed at the time. Let's focus on the fluctuations in his emotions and see what we can uncover. Why is bro scared of a door? True. Why is bro scared of a door? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the launch pad door? Do you think you're Cosmos? Afraid? And what basis do you have for that outlandish accusation? Whether I have any basis or not, you seem quite distressed by it. I'm most certainly not. Director Cosmos, there's something about that launchpad door you're not telling us, is there? No. Wow, he's speechless. It looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. It's working, boss. One more punch and it'll be a knockout. There seems to be one more emotion that's at odds with this testimony. Go get him. Okay, back to the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our victory. Our way to victory. Enter the lounge. Fired a gun. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they'd vanish into thin air. What did she say? Emotions that should be there but aren't. Like, he should be surprised here. Get another look, he vanished. Well, why are you not surprised that he vanished?
Got it!
Honestly, this guy seems so pathetic. I really hope he's not the killer. Yeah, I kind of want, like, a switch to just flip in him and all of a sudden he's just like, yes, I was the fucking mastermind all along. 7 years ago, I also did a murder and you just didn't fucking catch me. And now I wanted to do a murder again because I don't like it when people go to space, actually. I don't know. We'll see. Black Hole has to be the absolutely not. I think, like, Black Hole is the only person who is not the murderer, because this is, like, not a Godot-ass behavior. Black Hole literally got convicted of murder already. Don't know why he's still prosecuting, but he's like, Black Hole's already guilty. My machinations went undetected for years. I think, like, it is possible that it is literally any other character, excluding the defense attorneys and Black Quill. Not the attorney Black Quill, the sister? Oh. I forgot that she existed. You are so right for that. That's possible. I think, like, I mean, this probably isn't, like, the case, but I think it would be really cool if, like, the detective were the bad guy, because, like, in the first 3 games, Gumshoe was just an absolute G, right? And then the 4th game, it was Emma, and, like, obviously Emma can't do murder, but, like, who the fuck is Bobby Fulbright? I don't really like him. Also, I don't think he's in the next game, because the next game takes place in, like, not America, I don't think. Or maybe I'm being racist against the white-haired prosecutor, but, like, I don't know. I got, like, spoiled a little bit on, like, the central, like, conflict in the next game. Like, something about, like, in this particular country, like, if you lose a case, then you die. So I'm not super sure. But, like, I think it would be really cool if, like, Bobby Fulbright were the bad guy. We're the bad guy. We're the Black Quill. I almost said if you were the Black Quill. If the judge were a bad guy in one of those games, that would be huge, actually. You think Fulbright was an attempt to capture what Gumshoe was? It failed, but he does seem innocent. But, like, why wouldn't they just use Gumshoe? If, like, they could just use Gumshoe instead. Like, what is the point of using this new character, Bobby Fulbright? Like, he's the first... I mean, obviously Gumshoe was new in, like, 1-1, but he's the first new guy we've gotten. That's, like, something that I don't really understand. Alright, you must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely don't think that Fulbright's a bad guy. I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually. They should have used Emma SMH? Yeah. Like, what is this, like, injustice we trust head ass? And yet, at that time, you barely registered any shock at the occurrence. What? Why are you... I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea of where they went, isn't that right? What? No, of course not. That's preposterous. Emma works because she was different from Gumshoe. Fulbright is just too similar. True. How old is this man? Gumshoe age. He was 20. Yeah, like Gumshoe's like maybe slightly older than this, I think. Like, I do feel like he is just the worst Gumshoe. He better like really pull through in this final case in the DLC, otherwise I will be sad. Only I can enter the control room. And the area beyond the launchpad door was filled with smoke, making it impassable. And as for the southern door, I was standing right there, so there was nowhere for the killer to run to. Maybe or maybe not, you went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Terran, yes? What if the culprit took the opportunity to silently slip out through the southern door? I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge, Detective Arm came rushing toward it herself via the southern hallway. I do think the judge being bad would also kind of be hype, but like, not this guy, because, you know, it's been this guy, the same judge, I think, unless they're clones, for the entire game, for all of the games, the entire series, I mean. And I think that since the judge is the one, like, making the decisions of who's guilty and who's not, once, like, a bad decision is handed down, like, what do you do? What do you do as the lawyer? Like, do you just sit there and eat your hat and just go, well, frick, like, oh, GG's. I did my best, but the judge was still like, nope, I don't know, I'm guilty, haha. Like, yeah, so I'm not confident that that would work as well. We've been caught by her. And yet the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. So you're absolutely sure there was no escape route? What? Siri activated. So you're absolutely sure there was no escape route for the culprit to use? I'll just input those two pieces of data and... Yes! Just what I wanted to see. Presto changeo! Or Chongo? What is this? Less Discord. It looks like we're on the right track. Thanks, Athena. Now to make sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge, which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. You think it's Changeo? Presto Changeo? Furthermore, talking about the door to the launchpad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the launchpad 1 door. Did he rotate the space center? When we put these two pieces together, only one solution to this puzzle comes to mind. Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here? What does the ethanol stream do? So we hit karaoke, right? And ethanol just means that I will do karaoke when drunk. If it gets hit today. And if it doesn't get hit today, then I'll do a drunk stream.
Take that!
Convinced. Oh, I guess the karaoke one was completed already, but like yeah, if the two of them are met at the same time or like on the same day, then it will be a drunk karaoke stream, and if they are not met on the same day, then it will be a karaoke stream plus a drunk stream. The culprit went through Launchpad 1. Oh my god. That voice crack. The culprit went through the Launchpad 1 door to escape, didn't they? Yes, I mean, no! Disaster to starboard, we're going to crash into an asteroid! A master tactician, you are not. But the area beyond that door was filled with smoke, wasn't it? True, but this is still the only logical answer there is. If we can just figure out what the director is hiding about the Launchpad 1 door, we should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. It says so in the court record, right? No, it doesn't. But like in the previous section, like this man was like, yeah, like we can rotate it like 90 degrees or something, like for rocket launches. Should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. But that door requires fingerprint recognition. Only Starbuck, Terran, and I have access. I don't see how the killer could have opened that security lock. Do you? That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way he could have easily gotten past that security lock. Come to think of it, we did examine the prints on the fingerprint recognition device. I propose that the killer used this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock. Probably Starbuck? I don't remember whose fingerprints they were, but like probably Starbuck.
Take that!
Please? Okay, yeah, okay, it stopped. Okay, that's correct. That's... Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anybody could have easily gotten past the security lock by using Mr. Starbuck's prints. One way you could see it as working out, if the case starts out in the midst of the witness testimonies, comes up a clue that the judge had been present at or near the scene of the crime, which prompts the change of judge as his court ruling would be biased. Oh, yeah. That would be really cool. Yes. Good story. I guess that's sort of how it went with Manfred von Karma back in case 1-4. Cause like you were totally like just arguing against him and obviously like trying to protect Edgeworth and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, like DL6, and then there was this horrible scream, and like Manfred von Karma is actually the one who sent the letter, like etc. And then like the evidence slowly like starts pointing to him, or maybe very rapidly starts pointing to him. But yeah, something like that. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. It looks like he does have something to hide about the Launchpad 1 door. And I'm betting it's got something to do with the culprit's escape route. But I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet. You know, something just occurred to me. Would you like to hear it? Huh? Oh, yes, by all means. The ends justify the means. There's a security camera in boarding lounge 1. Right, the one that recorded the victim and the defendant. What about it, Your Honor? If the true culprit escapes into the Launchpad 1 corridor, then that might be recorded in the security footage as well. Yes, Judge. If we had that evidence, I would have presented it like 6 hours ago game time. Holy fuck. Oh my god. What an epiphany. Oh, what a genius. The brightest mind of the generation. Holy shit. Then the mystery would be solved. What do you think of my logic? Judge is Einstein. Yeah, Judge is like five steps? No, more like 5 light years ahead. That's so crazy. The entire courtroom is just stunned to silence. I hope you didn't strain your faculties too much for that. You're bald. I beg your pardon? Look, if we play the security footage beyond this point. Oh my! The footage cuts off! The camera was running on backup power, but apparently the power cables were damaged. Most likely by the after effects of the explosion. There's no footage after this, be it of criminals or space aliens. Oh, and I thought it was such a good idea too. Just because your grandchild is watching from the gallery, it doesn't mean you should try to show off too much. Grandpa baldness. Oh! Oh! Damn! Ooh! Oh, tough! Tough! Oh man. You know what? I'm starting to get the Black Quill hype. As long as he's bullying the judge, I'm here for it. I love elder abuse. In this context, in this like very specific context. Prosecutor Black Quill, how did you know about my grandchild? I think his grandchild just learned a little about the harshness of the adult world. Setting aside the issue of grandchildren, I'd like to have the witness continue. Director Cosmos, could you tell us more about when you entered the lounge? If I must. I hid to avoid getting shot. Sad. After the killer vanished, I went into the lounge. Sad. But that's when Detective Arm appeared from the elevator side door. Okay, surprised. And then the detective shot at me. Mad, sad, surprised. So you see, the killer could have only escaped to the launch pad, right? Alright. Where is that based? Oh god. What do you think about Director Cosmos' emotional responses, Athena? Actually, my cat is really sick, you know. What? Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. And on top of that, my dog just doesn't seem to want to play with me. Why are you telling me all this now? Just humor me, okay? Now when you heard about my cat. And then about my dog, which story made you feel sadder? The story about your cat, of course. It's only not... What? Oh, cat's really sick and dog doesn't want to play. Okay, so it's about the magnitude of the emotions? The story about your cat, of course, it's only natural. Exactly, that would be the natural reaction. But there's nothing natural about the director's reactions. I think how each individual reaction changes across the whole testimony would be the key. Sounds unnaturally complicated, but that somehow doesn't surprise me. Okay, very sad, hid to avoid getting shot. Kinda sad, the killer vanished, I went into the lounge. Okay, that makes sense. And then, whoa, Arm appeared! Whoa, I'm so surprised! And then she shot at me. Why is he less surprised than when she appeared? What? Why did it decrease? I feel like it should still be very surprised. Why are you not very surprised? Director Cosmos. Why were you so surprised when Detective Arm found you and again when she fired? Isn't that a bit unnatural? Deadly, even great men such as myself have ordinary human feelings. Our bodies are bound by the forces of gravity and emotions. Even a great man such as myself experiences surprise on occasion. Yes, I'm sure you do. But my real point is not the fact that you were surprised, but rather what you were surprised by. Pardon me? First, you were surprised when Detective Arm found you in the lounge. And just after that, you were of course again surprised when she shot at you. But considering what you were surprised about, a strange phenomenon occurs here. Director Cosmos, what is strange about your surprise reaction is the fact that you were more surprised when she came than when she shot gun at you. Such good mechanics for Widget, yet it's so late into the game. I mean, I guess we're, yeah, like 2/3 of the way through. Or this is the fourth case out of 6. It's not, yeah, it's a little late, but it's not that bad. I like Widget. I think Widget is better than Magatama. And also better than Perceive. Surprise when Detective shot at you, but the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge was much greater. Gah! The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than by being shot at. Yo, what the fuck? We're at 69, 68, less than 900 points left. I hate it here. Suggests to me that you were conflicted about whatever it was you were doing there. The enemy has acquired a new weapon. Commence Operation Hide Under Your Desk. Ah! Oh, he's cooked. Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. Woohoo! Boss, I'm getting less Discord now. That must mean he really is hiding something about that launchpad door. And whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape. I wonder what it could be. If he was doing something suspicious around that door, maybe we can spot some change between before he came to the room and after. What is this clip? And you know what? I'm starting to get the Black Quill hype. As long as he's bullying the judge, I'm here for it. I love elder abuse. Thanks. I did say that. That is true. Detective Fulbright gave us a photo taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Let's see. This is footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. And this is how the door looks after the, oh, this knobby thing rotated. And this is how the door looks after the director entered the lounge. Hey, look at that. There is a change. Something's definitely different. Director Cosmos. What is it? What have you two been up to over there? Finding the answer to what you were doing with Detective Arm, when Detective Arm found you, that's what. And the answer lies clearly in this footage. All we have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation. Don't be ridiculous. If you really do have an answer, you'd have pointed it out already. He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident. Knob.
Take that!
The answer is this knob. Ah, that's... Your Honor, please take a look at this footage. Let's see. Take a look at the knob next to the launchpad door. Cosmos is such a knobhead, he really is. As you can see, it's horizontal. Oh yes, it is, isn't it? However, when we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical. Explain it to the judge like he's 5, right? And what does that mean? It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. After After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. Come on now, Director Cosmos. Let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door? Oh, he was rotating the launch pad like location, maybe? Ah, fine, I admit it. You're right, I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launch pad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions, so I wanted to move the launch pad away. You wanted to do what? Yeah, so it was revealed last time, right? That like the Space Center can rotate, mechanism unknown. So I guess that knob just under the glass case with seemingly little like biometric or other security authentication is the mechanism by which the entire launch pad rotates? Okay. You wanted to do what? Hey, didn't Ponko tell us something about how they prepare for launch? She said that once the launch pad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site. Can the Space Museum do that too? But the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first. I guess that clears up what the knob is for. Oh, so if the killer escaped into the Launchpad 1 corridor, maybe they were transported along with the launch pad to the launch site? I don't think so. The Launchpad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor. So then, where did the killer escape to? Oh! It was the museum! Because the museum used to be Launchpad 2, right? That's where the Hat 1 incident took place. So... What? Oh, I get it! So it was actually the museum! So the killer escaped into the museum? I think that might be false. I don't know. I'm just saying words. But like under the premise that Launchpad 1 was filled with smoke, it just can't be. Or Launchpad 1 corridor, I mean. I can't talk. Corridor. I guess there are still some things we need to uncover. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launchpad in more detail. It's like an S1, S2 situation? Oh yeah, like in the the Steel Samurai case, right? Fine, but listen carefully, for I'm about to give history-making testimony. Oh, it's still Mood Matrix time. This is so much better than like pushing and like cross-examining and like finding evidence and all that bullshit. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. 为什么? Why? Nande? ¿Por qué? Why happy? My pronunciation of 为什么 was so bad there. I feared there might be more explosions. Okay. So I had to cut the launch pad loose. Surely the only escape the killer had was through Launchpad 1. But that area was a sea of smoke. And found it! Where on earth could they have gone? The director seems driven into a corner now. I can tell he's having a hard time hiding his true feelings. Just one final push then. His attempts to conceal the truth shouldn't be all that hard for us to break through. Love Mood Matrix, it's so unique. Yeah, it's so good. If we keep at it calmly, I'm sure we'll cross the finish line. Yeah. Why happy? So true, Mitsu. 为什么? Why? Did the witness really say that? Like, oh darn, wherever could the killer have escaped to? Did he actually say that? Okay. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. Wait, I didn't scroll back far enough. I did turn that knob. It was vertical, blah blah blah. So we have to say, I admit it. I turned it. It was up. Launchpad away. Yes, yes, yes. Da, da, da. Launchpad on corridor. Oh, it doesn't show the mood matrix in the transcript. Never mind. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You make it sound like you were reluctant to do so, and yet when you did it, you felt some joy, as if you were very pleased with yourself. Ah! How do you like it? How do you do it? How do you know everything as if you were there? Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology. So, care to explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda. Ah, how do you know about that too? Because I'm more or less a pro at guessing. But you have no proof that I had a hidden agenda. And even if I did, I would never ever tell you, so there. I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the cake. Oh my god. He's sundowning. It's like probably not even like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. and he's already tired. It's time for Grandpa to take his nap. And how could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity?
Silence!
He would make a great politician. And by great, I mean awful, but like successful. You, a man of integrity? Don't make me laugh. Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden? You've spouted nothing but falsities since you stepped up to the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatest barefaced liar an honor. Me for president? Hell no. Liar? His words bite harder than his blade. You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosions? My, how naive you are. You fail to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. You don't have to talk like a cartoon character all the time. Sasuke had ass. And here's the thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge, one side. The police confirmed this on scene. What? Liar! Liar! So that means the director didn't move the launchpad? Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest liar to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart's content. Liar?
Objection!
Yeah, shout that objection, Phoenix Wright. But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find where the killer escaped to. Wait, I remember at the start of this case, someone was like, I was in the control room and then came to the scene. Was that Yuri Cosmos in part 1? Do they really think that the launchpad moved instead of the center things? I don't know how it works either. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find where the killer escaped to. Enjoy your emotes. Thank you so much. You're sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out? Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy? Ah! We're cooked. Talk about hitting below the belt. Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge, but the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Ugh. Wait a minute, maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it would be right where the police found it. Ah! Oh no! He just got a haircut! That's crazy. He made him sigh like Mr. Starbuck. Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you, however. Our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wonders made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on faceless film. Wait, how's that possible then? How'd they get back? Oh, right. So, to reiterate. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Okay, yeah, it's the Space Museum. Got it. Ah! Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved, but our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other. Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched even for me. Never actually boarded the rocket. Okay, so the launch pad itself was beyond the circle, but the museum was here. And they went from the museum back to the corridor, back through the corridor, into the main building, and then he rotated it so the museum would go back here. Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe. Huh? All the pictures shown, could they have been staged in the museum? No, I don't think that's the case. But because, like, the bulk of the pictures take place in here, which is the, in the center building. The center building's a circle, right? But, like, it could be that they went from the Space Museum into this, through the smoke-filled corridor, into the lounge that's here, but, like, the Space Museum was on the other side. Whereas Launchpad 1 was, like, off in the beyond, maybe? But, like, this picture, for example, is probably taken, like, right as they're crossing, like, from the museum. I guess this does say 2. That does say 2. This number is not a 1. And the museum used to be Launchpad 2. So I guess the clue was there all along. So there's that. And also, this one takes place in that boarding lounge 1, I think. Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the Launchpad area but instead went into another place? And what if when the director moved Launchpad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential bull or I'll cut you. Okay, dude. Mr. Wright, you explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. Yes, you are. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor, let me explain. Dr. Cosmos' reason for moving Launchpad 1 was to swap it with another place. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place. Why? Bomb threat! This was during the Bobby Fulbright testimony during the last part of the trial. He was there on standby with Candace Arm, sorry, because they'd called in a bomb threat that morning. That's why they were there. And this was Yuri Cosmos' way of protecting his space center. Because if they blow up the museum, who cares about history? But if they blow up the rocket, that's tax dollars right there. Whee. I'm sorry, but did you say switch it? Well, what could you have possibly switched the launch pad with? Oh wow, the tracks really have been there the entire time. Oh, and like the corridor goes around the building, but the only entrance is on like 0 and pi side of the space center, I guess. Okay, yeah, this is the picture we were shown. I guess I literally thought that these were roads, but no, they're tracks for the buildings. That's really cool, actually. Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box and the answer becomes clear as day. So they can rotate perfectly, like 360 degrees all the way around. This is what was switched with Launchpad 1. It's the museum.
Take that!
Having the buildings move instead of the center spinning building spin seems so wrong. It's cool though. I think it's because the actual rocket launch site is in that beyond place, like much further from the building itself, because like all of the combustion and like heat that's generated from a spaceship or like a rocket launch is probably too much to handle if it's like that close to a building. Like, I mean, I don't know what they're like in real life, but like surely there are space centers in real life that are also like this, where like the rocket gets transported far away from like the center command area, or maybe the center command area is just far away to begin with. I don't know. In the past, the Space Center Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1 and can even be moved to the launch site, meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other. They build the rocket or whatever and then send the whole launch pad that they use to build the rocket to the launch area. Yeah, like, I mean, it's definitely a little crazy, or like a satisfactory amount of crazy to call it crazy, but like, I don't think it's unreasonable. Like, it's not like D. Vasquez pushing that man onto the spikes. Like, that's an okay bro. To me. I mean, it was a good case, but like, it's a bit outlandish. Or like, Acro not looking before he dropped that freaking statue. And his brother getting paralyzed because he was wearing a scarf that had pepper on it. Like, that's crazier. You can't mean. The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. Most cases look reasonable looking back from here. Yeah, it was the one in the Space Museum. How could they not tell that they were in the museum? What? Balderdash. Surely they knew that they were in the museum. And yet it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident. I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places. That's right, and with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 1. This allowed the true killer to enter Launchpad 1 from Boarding Lounge 2. And set the bomb on the rocket. Come to think of it, the door to the space I can't talk. Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 2. Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Exactly, anyone can pass through the door to the Space Museum. There is no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. Gah! After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into Boarding Lounge 1 and waited there concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum, Motive unknown still, but... Like, why? Why? Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who we can suppose after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. Yuri Cosmos, you fucking threw! Oh my god, you absolute buffoon. Right, Dono, I see you know how to handle a sword and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff? Swordmaster Bluff. True. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Silence.
But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword. That's right, you have no proof I switched the launch pads. Somebody needs a better anger management counselor. If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere. Yes, it's the image with the two. Yeah, let's go. At this point, the launch pad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other. So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see, this is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. There is a number 1 here. Can you find the number 2? The old man is such a child, yeah. Phoenix is him. Yes, he is. Do you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage? Huh? That number on the floor. Well, what do you know? It looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell. Oh, so that's why they could evacuate so easily. It's because the two of them, there wasn't smoke coming from the Space Museum where they were. The smoke was coming from here, they weren't there. But they still had to evacuate for some reason, right? And like Starbuck got like scared or whatever. But like it was just red because I guess the entire Space Center was on lockdown. If they'd actually stayed in the Space Museum, they would have been fine. And if this is just another bluff? Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum. Very well, then answer this for me if you would. Well, where, what evidence? Evidence where? Look at the 2!
Take that!
There's a 1 on the floor of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. You see the numbers on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? 1 does not equal 2. That's because the corridor you see is the one to the Space Museum. Gah! Blackwell got owned. And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke. That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1 on the side opposite the Space Museum. This is totally something Fulbright should have caught. Then in the initial investigation, you painstakingly figure it out, and he's like, yeah, obviously. Yeah, Fulbright's incompetence rivals that of Gumshoe's, but without the Riz and the Edgeworth cutting his salary. Hate to see it. And now we know that the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum. The mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Like, it's actually so unacceptable that they just didn't inspect their own footage at all. Like, at least, in the situation with the Steel Samurai, like, yeah, the murder originally took place in, what's the word? Studio. That's what it's called. Studio 2, right? Where D. Vasquez's like house and stuff were. But like she had moved the body to Studio 1 and that's where it was photographed and all that stuff. And like you didn't even know about the concept of like Studio 2 being a thing that existed until like this trespassing child, like you bribed this trespassing child with like a freaking like Pokemon card, like SSR Pokemon card. And then you discover like, oh yeah, there's Studio 2 and there were more people there like on that same day and you don't even find that out until day 2. But this picture is something that you got like immediately. And I think that like if the existence of the Space Museum had like been more clear, like this 2 like actually meant something, but like to the detectives, they surely must have known. Like what is Fulbright doing? I hate incompetence. I hate weaponized incompetence, like whatever this man is doing. And especially for someone whose slogan is "In justice we trust," like be so fucking for real. Alright, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Terran carrying Mr. Starbuck simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level. This is just a picture from a video, yes. So anyone not a player character should have seen the 2. Yup. So that's like even more unacceptable. Because it's just one frame. They should be all seeing a video. Like that one like blue badger head ass like da 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 thing. Except, you know, it'll probably be sirens in the background instead of like a cute little jingle. Oh, just incredible. The 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed in an event of this magnitude. And like also, like despite all of these like horrible, not inconsistencies, that's the bad word, but like horrible detective work on Bobby Fulbright's side, this is still a better case than the previous 2. Time to write a scathing review, grr, so true. So true. Wait, also, if you guys haven't contributed to the channel point thing yet, like, can you do that? Because it's almost there, and I, like, want to make new ones. Everyone was down in basement shelter when the launch pads were soft back. Thank you, Sandom. Drunk stream maybe next weekend? We will see. Drunk karaoke. I will practice songs. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface. If you were playing this, you'd probably love it. You know yourself. Oh, all the noise is gone. Hooray. I mean, I love it. I think it's goofy. It's just that like right amount of childish for me, you know? But like, I mean, presumably the next case is going to be about the incident from 7 years ago that got Simon Blackquill arrested and stuff. But like, and surely it connects to this somehow, right? Like there's gotta be some conspiracy, some 7-year-long conspiracy like there was in the previous game. So I think like they can still redeem it, but right now like Fulbright's incompetence is like pretty unacceptable. From a character standpoint. That's a DLC? No, the DLC is case 6. No more lies, Detective Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth. Ah! My honor, my glory. Everything is slipping away. Time to deploy my galactic engine ignition. What? It's gone haywire. Ah! It won't stop. Ah! My glory. Ah! No, not that way. Ah! There was a star here. Oh my god. That was really good, actually. I liked that one. He had good animations. Bailiff, on your seat and after that, witness. Oh, he looks so haggard. Poor guy. Oof. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Oh, this is the judge. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Director Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads? I admit it's true. Oh, Cosmos voice. I admit it's true. I switched Launchpad 1 for the Space Museum. It is good to hear words I can believe for a change. Before you do, Your Honor, two things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum. Yeah, because there's like aliens dangling from the ceiling. Thank God, Apollo's friend has eyes. That it had been switched with Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercise my rights to remain silent. But I will say, my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. The director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why. Probably not a good time to try to pry it out of him, huh? Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing. Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. As he was zipping around, all the stars here fell, and probably the ones on the front of his shirt too. No, poor guy. I don't see why not. Bailiff helped the director retrieve his stars. Yeah, I'm not convinced that he's the murderer either. Is this the first case where we're going to get our client a not guilty verdict without pointing the finger like fully at someone else? Without completely proving that it must be someone else who did the murder? It appears the possibility of a culprit, of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say? Motherfucker, if this were sufficient, in the past, oh my god, how many cases has it been? Like 20 freaking cases. Not really, but like 15 cases. If this were enough, why didn't we just end it like this sooner? I don't get it. Don't get it? What don't you get? Director, why did you do all that? In the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us! Mr. Starbuck. Starbuck, my boy, I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why, but I had to do it to protect the Space Center. Director! Will I ever get the chance to go into space again? Damn. We've got Aura Blackquill, we've got Solomon Starbuck, we've got Clay Terran, we've got Yuri Cosmos. And I'm assuming that this one is Athena's dead mom? Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you to space again, my boy. Then the dream is still alive.
Silence!
Okay, party pooper. Huh. You're not going into space, Starbuck. But prison. I won't have it any other way. Why are you so hung up on him? You forgot that Starbuck was the suspect and was like, why is the victim alive? Yeah, no, he's the defendant. The victim is this guy, who was like Apollo's best friend when they were in middle school or whatever. They do look really similar. They have like the same face for real. But like most of these characters do. Like their faces are pretty similar too. But she's different. I don't know. It depends. She looks like a fae, honestly. The hair clip, maybe? Yeah, I think it's like the kimono thing that she's wearing. Why are so high? Yes, I accept that the launch pads were really switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I've yet to see proof of this third person's escape by the Space Museum. Let me guess. We're going to get a lighter. That is going to be the piece of evidence that proves that the Space Center actually exists. Because Cosmos is gonna be like, by the way, I found this lighter. Didn't bring it up until now because I'm a dickhead. I'm a pompous dickhead, but you know, lighter. That's my guess. All right, let's go. Oh, that's a good point. He's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. What? Me? Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. If I'm going to die, I want to die in space. I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck, prepare yourself. Ha 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 ha. No, you know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Alright, hello, it's Fulbright. Ugh, that annoyingly cheerful laugh, it can be none other than... Champion of Righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here. Bobby Fulbright here. In justice we trust. Detective Fulbright. Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we had an appointment. I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell you, justice sure is a full-time job. Was it a fight between cats, or... Why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit. And I came to make sure that justice is served. What? Have we heard this music before? This is not familiar to me. I don't think we've heard this any of the other times that he's been here, but I'm also not sure. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright. I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. Have you finally succumbed? No, but it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence?
Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence.
Oh yeah, he wanted to help us this case and did no help until now. Alright, coming in clutch at the very end. Not as good as Gumshoe getting into a car crash and like rocking in with the evidence, or like Francisco doing that or something, but you know, it's okay. Is there lore on why that guy got a thick chain on his arm? If you're talking about Blackwell, it's because he's in prison.
I didn't think he was serious though.
So what is it, detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent? Oh my god, it is a lighter. He a bad boy, he a convicted murderer, more like. It is indeed. Have a look at this. What's this? A lighter? That's right, a lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood along with his killer's fingerprints on it. What? Gah. Please don't be Starbucks fingerprints. Please don't be Starbucks fingerprints. Please, please. Order! Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant? You bet. Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed. That was really easy and convenient. Thank you, thank you, Fulbright. Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that. Oh wait, this is Phoenix. I'm so sorry, Phoenix, for giving you that voice. With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with the lighter in hands to the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. It's almost like they shouldn't have the trial until the investigation is complete. Yeah, true. Then finally, the killer left through boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder, a fact that the Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't possibly have been the one to drop the lighter.
Silence!
Why'd he drop it? That's such a throw. Or not he, but like the killer. Why'd they drop the lighter? And just get themselves caught? Bozo. But the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection!
You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with the lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No. Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could only have been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit. Decisive evidence. Gah! Owned.
This does appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims.
As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume that it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No, there must be some mistake. Frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence!
Tomorrow what? Is he gonna die? Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime. A few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant Solomon Starbuck not guilty. Woo! We did it, chat. Hooray. Get owned, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright.
Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Probably some statute of limitations on the murder Blackwell's imprisoned for, as if murder has a statute of limitations. I mean, it does, right? Or it was 15 years for that unsolved case. But I thought this one got solved, so I don't know. Yeah, probably something to do with that, though. Oh, Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me, too. Y'all are the best.
Oh, I wish we could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now.
Yeah, me too, but that's gonna have to wait.
Now that a verdict has been reached,
I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned. Bye. I'm going to go
Objection!
talk to— Oh? The judge, I was so ready to LARP as the judge and like for him to go talk to his grandchild, but okay, it's too late to object, isn't it? It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong. Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict? Fulbright, what were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and well, I kinda got carried away when I heard the prince word to Mr. Starbucks, so... You have yet to read it? Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prince belonged to? This is such a throw, Fulbright. What is bro doing? Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to Athena Sykes. What? Alright, boys. Next case, Athena pulls a Maya and gets put on trial for murder, even though she probably, like, literally wasn't there. So says the report. What? Huh? Me? Athena, you dog! You killed someone! Order! I say order! Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion. I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit. This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece, and I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So, how could it have led to this? It has Athena's prints on it in the victim's blood. What have I done? Please forgive me. I'm sorry. That's crazy. This is a crazy animation. She's not on trial, so Phoenix and Athena still win here. Yeah, but like the next trial is probably gonna start like immediately. Order! Order! Detective Fulbright, stop her crying! What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad. Order! Order! I will have order! I will have order. Would he have withheld the information if he'd looked first? Fulbright's too honest for that. Yeah, he would have shown it anyways. Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. I really like the music. It feels like we're watching listening to an action movie. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. Yeah, no one really knows at this point. It's not just you. I have some theories, but I'm not sure. Alright, we're done. Why is Fulbright so big here? Okay, I'm gonna end here, but let's take a look at the start of the next episode. Turnabout for tomorrow. No one can escape their past. Oh. Baby Athena witnessing presumably her mom dying. Oh, that's the bloodstained katana that probably got Simon Blackwell, like, convicted. The sins we've committed in the... I didn't see that word that we caused. Okay, Blackwell. What is bro doing? Okay, bro actually did a murder for real for real? Or maybe this is just her fugue state. Is this why this game has a higher rating than the first one? It's literally just this. No matter how far we run, our past remains. I mean, I'm glad that it's red instead of like Danganronpa blood, as ever present as the moon in the sky. Oh shit, and we got... It's so edgy! Oh my god. And Apollo is just here, wearing his dead friend's coat, clenching his fist. It's so anime! Looking at the moon, it's daylight, my guy, but okay, go off. Oh, it's because it is daylight. Wow, the moon is so visible. It looms in wait for the day when we are forced to face it. The courtroom in rubble! Shambles, but only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on and hope towards tomorrow. It's so... I feel like the stakes got raised so quickly. Okay. December 20th, 1:23 p.m. Write anything agency. So that's the same day, right? They took Athena from the courtroom to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. Okay, and then Phoenix is alone and sad because this one like went off and this one got arrested. After this past year, I took it for granted that this would always be here, but now Apollo went off and like now Athena's... Damn. Alright. I have some theories. So that graphic showed Athena being all small, right? I think that fingerprints change as you get older, but I don't see how she could have gotten her fingerprints on there right now. Like, clearly she was not there. Capital W, capital N, capital T was not there, right? So, like, she obviously did not do it. Like, this is her game. So, my only theory is that this is connected to whatever happened with him and her and, like, her and the dead mom, like, 7 years ago. And what she saw the murder that happened 7 years ago and what, like, touched the lighter, and like the culprit is the same person who came back like after 7 years to like go do another murder. Like it has to be the same person from 7 years ago and today, right? Let's just use Clay like as the person. So like the murderer came back right now for some reason. Reason unclear, but I think it will be in new evidence, but if I had to pick a reason, it would be this. No. Yeah, this. Because this thing was in space. So no one could see it, so maybe there's something in there that like he really doesn't want the world to see, the real culprit. And I don't know, he's framing her for the murder of Clay with the lighter that she touched 7 years ago? I guess? I mean, this is just me like spinning fan fiction at this point. But like, I don't understand like why this bombing incident would have happened. Like, there's no motive. And like, literally like all I'm doing is just like control effing the number 7 and I landed on this, you know? So, like, I'm not convinced that any of these people are the real victim. Or not the real victim, the real culprit. I think it can't be him because he tried to protect his space center by doing the spinning. I think it would be really cool if it were fucking Ponko. Like, I don't know, like the robot is like developing sentience or something and like rebelling against his abusive master. Like it's just these two like doing the murder. That would be hype as fuck. Of all of the characters that we have, I guess it's Aura. But like, I don't know. I think I just don't like Athena enough. That's like the main thing that's holding me back. Alright, friends, let's find someone to raid. Tetru. Or not friends. Sorry. Alright, chat. Let's not get too parasocial. I think I'm also a little too parasocial with you guys. This game is cool, but you don't get how the investigation is happening during the case. I thought those were separate parts of the game. Never played. It's usually like there's an investigation section, or rather like a murder happens, and then there's an investigation, and then there's a trial, and then like depending on how the trial goes, there's more investigation the next like after the trial, and then the next day there's more trial, and then there's more investigation, and then there's more trial. All right, let's see. Who is live? We can raid Cowbow. The last time I raided him, I was in VC and he thanked me for the raid, and I was like, okay, like, of course you don't have to thank me. And he was like, yeah, but like, I mean it, you know? And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna ignore you the next time you say thanks for the raid, because I like don't really know how to respond to that. Like, obviously, if the streamer says it, like, while he's streaming, you know, you can type in chat, like, yeah, like, at any time, but like, saying it, I think, like, in VC, like, thanks for the raid is a little bit odd to me. Yeah. I can't wait for my theory to be like wildly off base, by the way, with this like true killer bullshit. Like, plot twist, it's actually just like Simon Blackwell being like a complete Clavier menace from behind bars. No, but they did that with, or not Clavier, Kristoff, but they did that with Kristoff already, so it's probably not him. I don't know. I hope it's the robots. I hope it's the robots. Bye bye. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.